We are Gold Ivy.
Our mission is to empower you to own and unleash your truth.
Stories of resiliency are gold, and ivy grows in hard places.
Those hard places are what creates space for light to shine through.
You decide what works for your daily life and how to transform our lessons into your gold.
This is Ivy Unleashed,
a Gold Ivy production. It's here. Our Move with Gold Ivy virtual workout platform is ready for you.
It's beautiful, it's easy to navigate, and it's absolutely packed with all kinds of workouts that will help you strengthen, trim, pump up, tone, energize, de-stress, all the things we want our body to feel. It's within Move.
Our dream has been to create accessible, affordable, and efficient workouts that you can do anytime and anywhere. But not only that, we have a weekly plan that you can follow so you don't have to think about it.
Everyone has been asking for a way to plan out their week and maximize their results, and we have the answer. Move with Gold Ivy. You can pick any workout you want at any time, but if you do want a plan that alternates muscle groups and leaves your body feeling energized and strong, we have the resources for you.
Speaking of resources, Move will also have a ton of them. We'll be adding all kinds of resources exclusive for Move members for your mental and physical health. We want you to get the most value out of our workout platform, and we will continually add kick-ass workouts, gut health information, physical challenges, and mental health resources that will leave you feeling ready to tackle life with energy and vitality like never before.
On top of the resources and virtual workouts, we will also be hosting live workouts.
So you're probably wondering about cost, and we're excited to share that for a limited time, only this month in January 2023, Move is free for a week and then only $10 a month.
And you can lock in this $10 a month founder rate right now to hold forever. We know the value of our workouts and resources are worth more, but wanted to honor and celebrate our biggest supporters in these first few months of launching Move.
So head on over to goldivyhealthco.com/move or find the link within the show notes of this episode and sign up today. This free week and monthly price, cheaper than any monthly membership you'll find, is going to end soon. So snag your spot and reap the benefits that you deserve to feel this year.
It's your time. Move for your health, move for your confidence, move for your mental clarity, move with Gold Ivy. You are listening to Season 3 of the Ivy Unleashed podcast. This is our first episode of Season 3, and we are so grateful that you are tuning in with us today.
Feeling very overwhelmed with emotion, so I don't know what's going to happen. I feel like something's just coming over me. I think I'm just feeling so grateful that I'm sitting in this chair and that we get to do this again, because it takes a lot of moving parts to make this happen, and the people that are coming to our life are unbelievable. And it's just a gift to be able to sit here and provide value to people, and I love it.
It's amazing. The guests that we've already recorded with for Season 3, y'all are in for such a treat. We keep having this theme. We've only recorded with a few guests, but the theme of really trusting yourself, which if you are a regular listener of Ivy Unleashed, you know that our message is listen to your truth, that there is power in your truth. Whatever is on your heart, it is on it for a reason, and that is your ticket to freedom. And so today we just want to give you permission to be fully where you are, be where your feet are, and listen to that truth. Whatever resonates with you today, the message we're going to share, we're going to catch you up on what life's been like for us these last 2 months, what we plan on doing with 2023, what is in store for you. And so as you're listening, whatever resonates with you, listen to it. It's resonating with you for a reason. Whatever invites you to dig a little deeper, maybe find what you want to do with 2023. That is our hope for today's episode. And so grab a pen and paper if you need it. You're in for it.
I think too, when you're trying to get in touch with your truth or what's calling you, I think taking some deep breaths is so important, because I think when sometimes we listen to podcasts where like, go, we're cleaning our house, or we're driving somewhere, we're hustling and bustling to get Christmas presents or, whatever may be going down. And something I've noticed just more with a meditation practice lately is that my mind is more clear and I'm able to get more creative and compassionate for others and really think about what I want in my life when I've taken those deep breaths and my body is in a calmer space.
Right. You're not in survival mode. You can't think about helping other people, being creative, bigger dreams when you're just worried about surviving. That's what I've learned these past going on 3 years now.
Yeah. So if you are like moving around your house or you are shopping or you are doing whatever, when you're in line at the store, take some deep breaths. When you're driving in your car, use that red light to take some deep breaths. The more that we are settling our nervous system, we can be more patient. We can be more loving. We can be more us. The more that we kind of calm that, which is, it's challenging. Like, especially this time of year, I've been struggling the last week with my mental health. Like the holidays, they just throw you off when you have guests. It's so wonderful. I had like the best weekend with my family, but it just throws off your routine. And then you need to like recover with rest and you feel like just laying on the couch, which is totally fine and needed. But it throws you off and then it throws off your mental health. Like yesterday, I realized I hadn't exercised in 6 days.
Wow.
And I was wondering why I was so off. And so something I really want to encourage you to do is notice your patterns. Life is about patterns. And my friend Liz always says this. She's like, you notice all of the patterns whenever you come here with like her kids, her family dynamics, whatever. And I think it's from my childhood. I had to really observe people's patterns to know like what kind of behavior to expect from certain people. And when your parents are divorced and you go to different households and then you're going to your friend's house where the parents aren't divorced, you just pick up on patterns. You're noticing how people interact, what kind of moods they're in. And it like reading the room is really important when you're a younger kid, regardless if your parents are divorced, And so something that's really important to think about is your own patterns. Right? How did I not realize I hadn't worked out in 6 days? Like I'm training for a marathon. That's how out of it I was from not getting back to my practices of like journaling every day and slowing down and having that time to myself because it's tough when you have people in your house or you're on the road. And so with this whole patterns thing, it's thinking about, okay, when I'm with this certain person, how do I feel? Who do I become when I'm in the room with these people? Do I like myself in that environment? And I'm not saying it's their fault that you become a different person. Like you need to own your part in this. But noticing, okay, when I'm in this certain environment, how do I feel? When I get up earlier, how do I feel? When without substances, do I feel like I just feel relaxed or like, oh, this is so nice. I should do this more often. Like, notice those patterns. Like, what are you doing in those moments? And how can we cultivate more of that?
Yes, that's meditation for you, baby. I can tell you've been meditating. Because when you meditate, what you do is you raise your awareness, right? And you become an observer of your thoughts. You can see yourself from a different angle. You can see the you that's with that person or that's doing your morning routine, your exercise. You can see how you feel. It's like you can take yourself out of your body and look at you from like a bird's eye view. And that is so powerful because then you can notice these patterns. You can notice what does make you tick. What do you need? Raising your awareness is so powerful and it's so simple. Yet something we've noticed is the simple things are what we don't do. We like to complicate things. Our ego loves to complicate things. And when it comes to slowing down, it's really hard right now with the holidays, with everything that's going on in the world. It's something I'm noticing is how do we hold space for both, right? To be in the moment, to have fun with friends and family. And there's so many beautiful things about the holidays, but it gets you out of your routine. And that's what I shared yesterday on our TikTok about, okay, what do I need to practice when I'm traveling this weekend? Like, what have I learned about myself through my healing journey the last 5 years? What can I add in? What are my non-negotiables when I'm traveling, right? I can meditate. I don't need space. I don't need anything specific with me. I just need 5 minutes of quieting my mind, my surroundings before starting the day. I can focus on water intake. I can focus on what I am eating. What do I want included in my meals versus restricting and stressing out. So I think being really intentional about what you're doing helps in a way raise that awareness and give you a sense of control during this wild holiday season. Mm-hmm. I also think sometimes there's that sense of I can't gain any control. And that's something that's really calling on Andrea and I's heart right now with what's happening in the world. Twitch, Ellen's DJ, he was on So You Think You Can Dance. Andrea and I absolutely loved him. He has a beautiful family, and on social media, his life looked absolutely perfect. Yeah. And that shows you that you don't know what someone's going through. No matter how much you think you know about someone based on what they post on social media, you don't. And that's why Andrea and I use this platform to talk about the real and the raw, because we've both been there. We've dealt with people who have been mentally struggling so hard. I've mentally struggled so hard, but on the outside looked fine. And clearly people are not fine. Like that is the message that I think is really on our hearts right now is you have to pour into you because you are needed in this world.
It makes me so emotional. I think it makes me so emotional because I have had a lot of people in my circle or extended circle take their own life. Mm-hmm. And I think why it's so scary is that it's not just we don't know what people are going through. People don't know what you're going through. Mm. Like, instead of thinking about, smile at a stranger, like, we have to take care of ourselves too. And I don't think Twitch saw this coming. Like, I don't think he was depressed for years and years and years and never told anybody. I think that your mental health can take a sharp turn, and I think it can convince you to go to the darkest place that isn't you. Like, that wasn't him. Mm-hmm. I think it's so scary how that can happen. And, I don't know him well, but it makes me think about the people in my life and these moments when you do get overwhelmed and things are too much. Yes, my life looks beautiful. Yes, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what things should be. It matters your truth. And if you are struggling, you have to pick someone that you're going to tell. Mm-hmm. Like, you have to have that person. It might not even be your partner. It might not be someone expected. It might be someone from home that struggled too, or like you've talked about this before and you feel like, they can go in a dark place with me. I'll tell them. Like, yeah. I'm having some ugly thoughts. And we do have an episode coming up with Danny J, who's a podcast host and a TEDx speaker, and she's very open about how dark her thoughts can get and then what she's done about it. And I think that space is so tricky when you're in it. Mm-hmm. It's scary, it's ugly, and you feel stuck. And she's going to talk, through what she's done. And it scares the shit out of me. Mm-hmm. It scares the shit out of me. Like, you could have these thoughts and do something about it. Like,
anyone could.
Yeah.
I think what's important to think about too is it's so different for everyone, right? Like, for Twitch, it could have been all of a sudden he had these dark thoughts, or he was dealing with this for a really, really long time. And some moments were really, really great. And he wanted to feel so good. And so you put on that act in hopes that it does make you feel better. And maybe in the moment it did make him feel better. But long term, he had some demons in him. Mm-hmm. It could be a quick shift of, oh God, I'm really in this spot. Someone passed away, or you're going through a divorce or something, and you just have, a time of depression, or it could be something lifelong that you're dealing with. Like, there's a lot of research that we know about depression and how it's linked to our physical health, right? And our gut health and our hormones. And there's also a chemical imbalance, and it's genetic. Like, there's so much shit out there, and we could get tied into the nitty gritty of, okay, you need to take this supplement and eat this way and do that. But at the end of the day, like, you got to find what makes you feel like you. Mm-hmm. And I think there's a sense of worthiness too, of I am worthy of feeling good. I see how good all of these people feel, and maybe deep down they don't feel that way, but their life looks really fun and they're happy. And for me, when I was depressed and still deal with it here and there, it was like, I know how good it feels to feel good, and that's what I was chasing. And if other people have found answers, why can't I? And yes, it's important to tell someone, but to also know what you need from that person. And that person to know, because for me to tell you I'm really struggling and then you just hold that, like, yes, it feels good for me to say it, but then what?
Dale, you opened your gym. Can you tell our listeners what it's called, where it's at, and how it's going?
Yes, it's called Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping, Maple Grove, Minnesota. We're officially open for business. The energy has been amazing. People are excited to be back on the mat, kind of like pre-COVID times.
Awesome. I can't wait to check it out, but I've never done kickboxing before. What can I expect?
Yeah, we offer intro classes, start with the basics, 100% beginner friendly. And my theory is start where you are, no matter what your experience level.
Awesome. So if I don't have any gloves or experience, I can fit in there?
Absolutely. We have gloves, everything you need. Just show up with your bad self and a good attitude. We offer strength training classes, kickboxing, yoga, advanced kickboxing classes when you're ready to up your game. Also, you're not in the area. We have members all over the globe benefiting from virtual classes. Whether you are using body weight, you have an entire collection of equipment, there's a workout for everybody. And we regularly offer our flagship 10-week transformation challenge, 5 to 6 days a week of classes, nutrition counseling, private Facebook group that provides you 24/7 accountability and support. We got you covered.
That sounds awesome. We'll link Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping in our show notes so our listeners can easily find you. And I'm just curious, Dale, what are you hoping they experience by joining your gym?
I'm hoping people can learn that there's an athlete in everyone, and you're capable of turning your health and life around no matter where you are. I'm leading by example. If I can beat stage 4 cancer in under a year, I can help you prove that you're physically and mentally capable of so much more than you think.
Love that. And last question, can you give our listeners a deal?
Heck yeah. Mention Ivy Unleashed or Gold Ivy Health Co. when you come in or you contact us, and we're going to get you set up with a free preview week. See you on the mat.
Mm-hmm. And I think, a lot of the podcasts I've been listening to talking about Twitch's situation and just mental health as a whole is like, what do we do about it? Right? Like, there isn't enough talk therapy appointments to go around. We're definitely
you can get on a wait list for 18 months sometimes to get an appointment. Like when it's an emergency, there needs to be more. And there are hotlines, but it's just, there's something missing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like you can call 988 as the new hotline, which is awesome. And I think we're definitely moving in the right direction, right? There's this, again, awareness piece that something is really going on. And the media, although social media can be terrible, there's also beautiful aspects of it, like drawing the attention to, hey, we need to do something about this. I'm sure Twitch's wife is going to be a big advocate and help. And so I think what I'm trying to say is if someone comes to you and needs help, like ask them what they specifically need. And if they don't know, you hold space for them, but you make sure that they're not alone. Mm-hmm. And that they know you can come to them. Some people just telling you might not be enough, and knowing when to bring in other people to help.
Mm-hmm. I think like a big reason why Brooke and I do what we do is to fill in that gap. Like if you don't know what could boost your energy or help with your brain health, that's why we're here. We'll give you a million ideas, right? And sometimes that's what you need is like, I don't know what I need. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, well then let's just focus on sleep. Let's listen to the sleep episode, or let's listen to the fun episode, because having fun boosts your energy. I think sometimes it's like too much to think about why I'm so sad, you know, and sometimes you just need ideas of, what could boost my energy? Like, let's just do a little something like this. Feels weird, but I'm just going to try it. Like the other day, I felt so tired after hosting 17 people in my house, right?
Fair.
And I was like, on my breaks today, I'm going to watch a show. I haven't watched a show in a long time. It's something I just like, as an entrepreneur, time is tough and having kids and trying to juggle it all, like I couldn't watch TV anymore because it sucks time away from you.
Or I'm watching TV and I'm like, I shouldn't be doing this right now. I can't even enjoy sitting down and watching it.
Yeah, but something I'd encourage you to do, I'm not trying to like demonize TV, but I do want you to think about what you're watching and what it does to your energy.
Yeah, what are you consuming? A lot of times we think it's just food, but it's not. It's TV. It's the people you're around.
Yeah, and so sometimes it's fun to watch. Like I do like watching a movie where I have a good cry, or it's like dark and twisty, and it's like whoa, you know. Like sometimes there's a space for that. I'm not saying that, and I like a good scary movie, just horror, love it. But when you're in a darker space or you're really exhausted, watching something that's going to make you laugh, like The Voice, or like something that's like inspiring, motivating, whatever, is really important, because I was feeling not down, but just like exhausted. And then I watched the Meghan and Harry Netflix special, which was so interesting. We should talk about that too. But it just brought in thoughts of how manipulative people can be and how heavy family dynamics can be. And like she was suicidal at one point. And so when I probably needed to watch something a little bit more upbeat, it was interesting. And it's very brave of them to share this story because they get a ton of criticism about it. And I don't know what side of the fence everybody listening's on, but I am team Harry and Meghan. I feel like the balls it takes to say like our mental health and our family safety is more important than this hundreds of years of these traditions. Like that is so ballsy. And some people are really like angry about it and think that they're just high maintenance and trying to cause a scene. But it's like, they were not well.
And also until you're in that situation, how do you know how you'd respond?
Exactly.
Like I'm sure Meghan didn't grow up as a child like, I'm going to do everything it takes to learn how to be a royal. Like, no. You're not taught how to do that.
Well, they painted this picture that she was like, you know.
Terrible.
Right. And she was basically Princess Diana before she even met him. She was already doing volunteer work. She was already advocating for women all over the world. And like, she was already basically living that life.
Something I'm thinking is you look at her, she has money, she's successful, and she still deals with what we deal with. Right? She still struggles with the thoughts she thinks, her mental health. Am I doing enough? Am I being enough? How do I be a good mom? Like at the end of the day, like we're all human, and it doesn't matter how much money you have, how you look on the outside. Like, are you at peace with yourself?
Are you okay? Someone asked her if she was okay, and she was like, it was right after she had her baby, and she looked at him. She couldn't even speak, and she was like, thank you for asking me if I'm okay. Nobody's asked me if I'm okay, and I'm not. And at the end of the day, all that matters is, are you okay? Like, are you okay? It doesn't, like you said, it doesn't matter how pretty you are, how much money you have. Literally, it's not worth it if you're not okay. And that's why we're here. We want you to be okay. We want you to, first of all, be okay, and then take the next step of being even more okay until you're on fire and you're living this dream life that you know you deserve. Like deep down, you know you deserve to be the happiest, most joyful. Accept yourself for exactly who you are and live it out so that the people around you are like, holy shit, she has really stepped into herself and she doesn't give a F what anybody thinks, and it's beautiful. And then they will do it. And then your kids will do it. And then their kids will do it. And it's so important that we keep taking those baby steps of, what's going to keep making me feel more okay? And then okay is kind of gone. Now I feel good. And then how do I want to feel great? And then how do I want to feel like a badass? What's something that will make me feel like, holy shit, I just did that?
Yes. I love that visual of, you know, and that goes back to what we said about survival. Like you can't think about your dreams and having a family. Or for me, it was, I can't even think about having a business if I'm not okay. Like if I'm in survival mode, all I'm thinking about is how the hell do I get out of here? How do I get out of this grave? And as you're talking, what I'm thinking of is we just had a girls' night Which also, you need to prioritize girls' nights because, it set my soul on fire and it was so good. And we played this game called Strangers, which was basically like designed probably by a health coach. And it's these deep ass questions. And the goal is by the end of the game, you're not strangers anymore. You know everything about each other. But these questions, one question was, what's a lesson that you're unlearning right now? Another question was, what would this chapter of your life be called if it was a book chapter?
Okay, now I want you to answer both those questions because those are great questions.
I'm learning that I don't need all of the external things. So I'm unlearning that things outside of me give me validation, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. That I'm whole as I am. There's that worthiness piece. And the book chapter is stepping into my power now that I feel good. But one of the girls, her book chapter was F it. I don't care what anyone thinks. And you saying that about getting to the point where you thrive and all you care about is, am I a good human? Is what I'm doing what I want to be doing and setting my soul on fire? Am I not comparing? I think we get so caught up, myself included, in, am I doing what I should be doing? What everyone else is doing? Like, I'm on my own timeline and right now, in 2023, like, I just want to be on my own path. And like, Lord, what you got from me, I can't wait to see it, but like, I trust in it. Mm-hmm. And when I develop myself, like, the Lord will deliver what he needs me to have. Like, it's already the plan. But when I'm so focused on control and getting, it's like, I'm just going to say what I want, love the idea, go for it. But whatever happens, happens.
I love that.
Like, not forcing.
More surrender.
Yeah, because I feel like the force is what F's with my mental health. Of, it should be this way. If only I did this better or that. When I'm in the flow state of, I feel good, I'm creative. Like, being very mindful with my time on social media is very important because there is a fine line and I feel myself tipping over and I feel the dopamine and the addiction of, like, I don't even know what I'm looking at, but I can't stop scrolling. Like, It is the craziest thing ever. How they invented this, they're genius, but they're effed up.
Yeah, well, and so, if you ever get deep and you start thinking about time, I wish I had more time, you lose someone, you wish you had more time, or like, you're trying to have a baby, you wish you would have started earlier because there's this lack of time. Like, there's just time. Like, time is the most precious
resource.
Yeah, it really is. And I listened to this episode of Rob Dyrdek on Ed Milet's podcast. If you have not listened to this episode, Britt Williams also with her time management would just geek out over this. But Rob Dyrdek, basically, he's this entrepreneur, used to be like a skateboarder. He broke down like his entire life into percentages of minutes and streamlining everything to get more time. So he's like, do I want 23% of my life scrolling on TikTok? Like, my amount of hours on my phone is ridiculous, right? How can I put that time into something I care about more? I care way more about my relationship with my wife. So I'm going to dedicate this amount of time. And he just has basically this brilliant software that he's used to figure out time. And aside from listening to that episode, what I got from it was, when you look back on your time, what are you going to wish you spent more time doing? Like, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Like, are you going to wish that you spent more time working on that project for work? No. You're going to wish you would have sat at your dinner table with your kids and talked to them when they were like 8 about their dreams, And I know that sometimes that's necessary. You've got to pay your bills. And I'm not saying like quit your job or, whatever.
But when you audit your time, there's time you are spending that you could be using it differently.
Yeah. And if you actually truly audit, okay, I'm not going to judge myself, but I am going to track this week how many hours I watch TV. I am going to track how many, I'm going to look at my time on social media, because you can look on your phone and see how many hours you were on your phone. And sometimes we need it for work or whatever, but just get honest with yourself. And because time will run out, like, time is going to run out, and that's kind of scary. And I don't want to put like fear in people, but it's the truth.
Fear moves you. That's how I look at it. I could die tomorrow.
Exactly. And I have friends, I have neighbors that either have an illness or they just lost someone way too early because of this. And it's like, what do you wish that, you could do? Like with Dale, he's like doing all of these super fun things that he knows lights him up because he knows his time is limited. Like all of us is. And I just want to encourage everyone to think about, okay, what's my potential I'm not tapping into that I could really, whether it's potential with your relationship with someone you want to make it healthier. For me, it's my marriage. This year, I want to go on more dates. Like I want to cultivate more conversations.
Does that mean I get more babysitting time? Just kidding.
I want to make sure that is solid because that's everything. That's my kids' happiness. That's their emotional stability. Like if we're not good, which we're fine, but I want us to be like thriving. And it's tough when we're both entrepreneurs, 3 kids, you get tired, you try and do social life, we try and travel. It's a challenge, but it's like, I don't ever want to regret not pouring everything into that. And so I'd encourage you to think about, is there a relationship? Is it just figuring out who you are? Is it a place you've been dying to go to and you could plan your finances better? Is it getting your finances in order? What do you every year, every new year, you're like, I got to get better at that. Oh, I said it last year. I said it the year before. I said it the year before. Like,
aren't you sick of hearing yourself say that and think that? Like,
what are you sick of saying to yourself? Like,
because when you come back to it, like, it's your fault. I mean, just to put it bluntly, like, yes, things come up and life happens and I'm not saying that life's perfect and that you are completely in control. There's always something that we can do. If you are not happy with where you are at, you have the power to make a choice. No one is telling you you have to buy this Starbucks. No one is telling you you have to watch this movie. You have to scroll on TikTok. Like, take ownership and be honest with yourself because no one is coming to save you. And that's really what helped me get out of my dark time was if I want to feel better, I have to do something. The will, the determination, it comes from me wanting to because I am worthy. I deserve to feel good. I have one life to live. Why do I not want to live it on fire? And if you see everyone else living it on fire and having money, something I keep coming back to is all these guests we've had and all of the books. And Andrea and I do a lot of personal development shit, as you can tell. Is if you have the idea, if you have this feeling, you are capable of doing it. It doesn't come to you for no reason.
It's already, like Catherine would say, and so it is. Like, you've thought of it, so it exists now. And bring it to life, And she talks a lot about, too, when you change, the world around you changes. You may have a very tough relationship in your life. You may have a really tough situation with grief or infertility or finances, whatever it may be. And just trust that the more that you pour into yourself in the quiet and reflect and think about what you want, when you change, those circumstances can change. And I'm not saying you can change that you're going through grief or infertility or, if you have a tough financial situation like that's hard. But you being able to cope with it requires you to face yourself and pour into it. You might need so much extra love. You might need so much extra sleep, therapy, books, like whatever it is that you're like, I need some help. Like I am struggling in this time with this thing. Don't run away from it. Don't turn to TikTok. Don't turn to TV. Face it because it's on your mind.
It's only going to come back and haunt you.
Yes, it's not going anywhere, right? And that sucks. Like sometimes that sucks. Facing debt sucks. Facing the fact that you've been handed this really shitty card, it sucks. But it's not going anywhere until you face it, until you decide, man, I got to care better for myself. I got to just figure out what I need. I don't know what I need, but I can't keep feeling this way. And so it's got to get quiet. It's got to get still. It might require some tears, a lot of deep breaths, a best friend you can cry to, an ugly cry. Like whatever it is you need, you've got to face it. and face it this year. Like, don't run away from it anymore.
Yeah. I think facing it is so hard, and it takes having someone to do it with you. You know, getting a coach. Andrea and I, we can sit here and say these things because we've done so much work, and we continue to. Like, it is a never-ending journey. We have both worked with Catherine. We've both worked with our own coaches, therapists, and you can't do it alone. We weren't supposed to do this alone, and the reason that you hire a coach is because someone has done it, and they don't want you to take all the time it took them to take.
And I also want to clarify that having a close friend, someone to rely on, having a coach, having a therapist is not about them telling you what to do.
No.
It's actually just to help get clarity on what you need. You know, and if you are going to a person that you're like, oh, they'll give me good advice, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about someone that will listen to you, that's not trying to control your emotions and fix. And, you know, this is about someone listening and crying with you, listening and asking for permission if they give you advice, because unsolicited advice is not what you need. What you need is to have someone hold space for you to figure out your own answers. It's not about getting answers from someone that's really smart or that's, you know, always gives great advice or has access to resources or whatever. Like, it's like you have everything you need within you to get through this, and you just can't do it alone.
Yeah. Perfect example. I just had a client graduate gut health coaching, and it was the most beautiful experience. The last 6 months we've been working together, and, you know, what she said to me was, I didn't know how you could help, but I'm so glad I listened to my gut. No pun intended. And we worked together. You've helped me so much. And I said, no, you helped yourself. You invested in you. And she knew everything she needed to do, but she needed that space to reflect on it, to bounce ideas off of someone, accountability, to have someone to go to for questions, or, okay, what do I need to prioritize this week? What's going to make it easier? What do I need to actually stay committed to it? Right? It's how to continue to prioritize yourself when life gets in the way. And a coach is not going to tell you what to do. They're going to help reinforce what you know you need to do.
Yeah. And if you can't afford coaching right now, or it's not in the cards for you, like, I just want to clarify, Brooke and I are coaches. We do self-growth and development every day of our life. We still need accountability. We still struggle with following through with things. We all do, because anything we're trying to do, like, I'm a goal-setting queen. I set goals every day of my life, but I struggle following through because it takes effort. It takes, you know, when you don't want to, doing the thing. And I don't always do the thing when I know I need to do the thing, right? And so if you can't afford, or right now you're like, okay, I don't know about this coaching thing. Let me take a step back and try something first. What I did was a November challenge where I created an Excel sheet. I put my non-negotiables on it, and I had to cross it off every day when I did it, because I wasn't following through on things. And I think sometimes you need to do a challenge. I think sometimes it's like, how will I actually know if I'm doing what I want to do? Let's screw the confusion and the gray and the blurriness of, I kind of ate better this week. Like, did you?
No, track it.
How many salads did you eat this week? How much water did you drink today? You've been wanting to read the Bible more? Did you or did you not? Put an X in the box if you did, and if you didn't, look at it. Don't be afraid to look at what you are doing or aren't doing, because those boxes give the value of your life, and what you put in the box that you want to do should line up with your values. Like, I am looking forward to my weeks more than my weekends now. I can't wait for Monday. I fucking love Monday. Monday is my favorite.
Why?
Because I know there's structure of exactly what I want to be doing that sets me on fire.
Yeah. And I think that's a misconception, right? People think, oh, like to-dos and structure, but really when your to-dos align with what you want to be doing and it excites you.
My weekends throw me out of alignment. The only thing on my weekend for sure I know keeps me aligned is church on Sunday. And I want to change this.
What do you need to do differently during your weekends then?
Are you coaching me right now?
Kind of.
Yeah. I think that Saturday and Sunday, I need to decide what stays in there for my structure, right? Like, do I just keep my morning routine 7 days a week? Why do I think I need a break from it? I don't. I love it, you know? And so the only thing I'm changing on Sundays is that if I want to sleep in until it's time to get ready for church, I do. Just like if I need extra sleep or I want it, or I stayed up late Saturday, because that's usually when I socialize. That's what I do that kind of is off from the week. But I think that's important to think about. Like, when am I most aligned with what I want in my life? Does my week show that? Like, is my job aligned with who I want to be and be doing and providing the world? And am I making an impact with it in a way that feels fulfilling? Because I think, like, we're trained that you show up, you do your job, and you get your paycheck, and you're providing to your family. That's good, right? Okay, yes, pay the bills. But is it good? Is your mental health okay? Do you like what you're doing? Is it fulfilling for you in a way that you end your day and you're like, I did some good today. Like, I feel good about what I'm doing. I feel supported by the people in my network at work. I feel like they want what's best for me. There's opportunity for growth and development. Like, is that where I'm at? Do I like being a stay-at-home mom, or am I doing this because I feel like I should? Am I getting fulfillment out of this? Should I try this a different way so that I have those feelings of, yes, this is what I want to be doing, right?
How do we switch the shoulds to the wants? I should be working out. I should be eating healthy. I should be going to church. I should. Stop shooting on yourself. For me, it's, what do I want to be doing? It's that aspect of romanticizing the things that make you feel good, because you want to feel good. And if running a marathon you don't want to do that, then don't. But if you want to move more, what could you look forward to? Could it be 5 minutes of walking on the treadmill while you talk to your best friend, right? How can you tweak these things? When you think about the big picture, it gets very overwhelming. And so I think it's important of, okay, what can I do right now? Like for Andrea, it was a November challenge. What are a few things? I loved the idea, but that was overwhelming because I feel like I have a million to-dos. And so what I did was, okay, this month, I'm just going to meditate every day. I'm going to pick one thing to prioritize. 2023, I'm going to do one thing a month. Meet yourself where you're at, because progress is progress. And everyone is at a different chapter of their life. And that's what I'm learning as I'm diving into comparison, and why it's really getting me is I'm comparing my chapter 4 to your chapter 15. And that's just screwing myself over. So let's stop. Let's meet myself where I'm at. What does progress look like for you? What does doing something for you that you haven't been doing? Maybe it's different. And guess what? It will be different, and that's okay.
And we coach clients all day, every day. And the pattern that I see with so many people, what stops their progress is, instead of celebrating their wins and their progress, they're beating themselves up for the day they didn't meditate. Oh, I said I was going to do it every day. I didn't do it on day 17. Screw this month. I'll start over next month. Instead, you just did 16 days in a row. That is something you need to celebrate. Every day that you do the thing that you said you wanted to do, feel good about it. Play a song after you followed through on the exercise. Tell someone that you know will celebrate you. Like, treat yourself to something at the end of it. Like, knowing that you showing up and following through is, one, going to give you whatever it is you're trying to cultivate. Mm-hmm. But if you don't celebrate the progress you're making, the progress will stop. Like, you changing what you're doing is supposed to be rewarding. Otherwise, your brain will stop doing it. Like, your brain needs a reward. That's how we work. And so if you're not rewarding yourself, you will get burnt out. You will stop the diet. You will stop the exercise. You will stop the training. You will stop saving money if you don't reward yourself. And everyone's reward is different. You have to figure out, what's my reward for this? What's my love language? What would make me happy to reward myself a little bit with? And make sure it's within this discipline, right? Of building this discipline muscle, that you are celebrating it. Because it's badass to change your habits. Like, your brain needs a lot of work to get a habit in place. So you have to reward it.
Mm-hmm. You need rewards and you need accountability. Like, those are two things I want you to take away. Is I need to know how I'm celebrating, what I'm doing to celebrate. And it doesn't have to be a tangible thing, right? It doesn't need to be, okay, I need to buy this or spend money. It can be, I'm just going to have a dance party. Like Andrea said, you want your brain to feel good. And so do something that feels good. And accountability. Do it with someone. For Andrea and I, we are constantly telling each other what we are working on. Just like accountability for mental health. You have your go-to of, if you have those deep thoughts, who are you going to? What are you doing? For me, it's, I got to come here and work. I got to come to your house. I got to get out of my environment. You have that go-to of, when I'm not feeling like myself, when I'm not thriving, I'm not in this higher element that I know I want to be, what do I need to do? That's like, I don't have to think about it. I just do it. And that becomes the habit of, you notice, your awareness is raised. And so, you know, I'm not feeling like myself. What do I need? What's my go-to? And so make it simpler on yourself through rewards, accountability, and having those go-tos that make you feel like you.
And if you missed that at all, Brooke's saying she has really off days. She feels really low. I have days I'm super off, I'm super anxious, and we tell each other. And we don't sit by ourselves in those feelings. Like, Brooke is coming here on days she feels off to be in my presence. Like, find that person. Who is that for you? Know that just because we're health coaches and have a podcast, that we don't always feel like, yeah, life is good. Like, it can look however it looks on the outside, but we all have those days. And those days require you to make the call.
I think,
the call.
yeah, the
Shoot
difference
message.
is we're not sitting in it. Right? It's so easy. And the longer you sit in it, the deeper you get. That's what I've noticed. And so if you can notice you're feeling that way, right? Danny J, who Andrea mentioned earlier, that's going to be on season 3. She noticed these dark feelings and she was traveling, and she found a hospital, a mental hospital that she could just walk in and get support from. And so noticing when you feel off and not letting yourself sit in it so that it's so hard to get away. It's the same thing with day 17, you miss the meditation. Okay, well, tomorrow's a new day. Get back in it. No, if you wait for a new month, you've lost all that momentum. Keep the momentum going. And 2023, we don't really believe in New Year's resolutions. We believe in themes and how we want to feel and what we want 2023 to look like. That's going to set us on fire. So for me, what I've decided, because this whole challenge thing, we really love with the goals and the tracking. In December, I did meditation. And January, I want to do movement. 10,000 steps every day. Working from home is tough with movement. And so I have to prioritize it. So I'm doing 10,000 steps to get me moving.
It's also like 13 degrees below zero, and we have like 2 feet of snow here. So like that's a pretty big commitment.
Yeah. But Ian, my boyfriend, got me a walking pad. So it's just like a little treadmill. That's just the bottom of it. So I can do it while I work. It's not a lot of work. I have to find the time to do it and carve it out. And so that's something I'm really amped about. I was going to do one, but I have this calling on my heart to do it. And so I've decided I'm going to do it. This is my accountability. Everyone hold me accountable. I want to journal every day in 2023.
Whoa.
365 days. Because I try to make it a practice, and I wait until the end of the day, and I'm too tired. So I have to find a different time to do it. I have my morning journaling that's different. It's my gratitude, my intention setting, my who I'm sending love to, 3 people I'm sending love to, and my 10 things I'm manifesting, like 10 goals that I want to happen. But that's different than like actually reflecting and your thoughts. And so when I look back at my whole journey, the last 5 years of my health, like, journaling is so powerful. I love reading it back, and I've journaled a lot, but not enough. Not to the point where
there's like nothing more transformational than journaling. Like nothing. How do you feel about me joining you?
Welcome, sister. Okay, I tell you, and we got a plank challenge. God, we got too many challenges.
Well, I think it's good to have one for your mental health, one for your physical health, right? And so, I mean, Brooke and I, a huge dream of ours has been to create Move. We'll talk about it, talk your ears off about it. And it's something that we want to make so affordable and easy to just pepper into your routine. Like, moving is so important. And Brooke said this before. Tony Robbins says it. Like, if you want to change your mental state, you have to change your physical state. You've got to move your body, right? Mm-hmm. And so if you need help in that department, we got you. We're going to be doing challenges on Move. We're going to be providing resources on Move. And we like to just look at what we have for workouts and pepper in something that's different to like spice things up. Because doing something new is really good for your brain. It's really good for your mental health. And so you'll see throughout the year, nonstop every week, we'll be throwing new workouts at you. You can purchase just a workout if you want to try it. But right now in January, it's the first week's free and then it's $10 a month. And the commercial's already in this episode, but if you do it now, it'll remain $10 a month forever. So
there's so much value.
We've got that for you.
We're obsessed with it. And January, we've decided that we're going to have a plank off. And so Andrew and I, and a lot of people actually have commented they're going to join us. So we're just going to see how long we can hold a plank in January, doing it every other day and bumping up that time.
Yeah.
Each time we do it, which is...
1 minute was tough yesterday.
We're going to get up to like 7-minute plank.
Yeah,
I'm going to do like one more second at a time because otherwise this seems really overwhelming.
Yeah. And if you're new here, this podcast is obviously called Ivy Unleashed, but anywhere you want to follow us, we're Gold Ivy Health Co. on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. That's where you can find us.
Yeah. So we've got 10,000 steps is what I want to do, just because moving makes me feel so good. We got the plank off. That's new and kind of fun. And journaling, really what I want to do. But also we've been inspired of changing our life to more non-toxic, which it can be expensive depending on how you view it. And so what I want to do is every month, I'm just going to find a product to swap. I've been so excited that I already started. And so I switched my makeup primer to Jessie Golden's from the Golden Secrets, her Youth Beauty Face Oil. That's natural. Oh my God, it's incredible. And so just little swaps that I get excited about, knowing what I'm putting on my body, doing it in a way that it's affordable. I can be excited about like, ooh, what's this product going to be this month? So I don't know what January is going to be at. It's going to be whatever I run out of.
Yeah. Well, Jessie Golden's episode comes out tomorrow. And so she is just a very unique woman. So beautiful inside and out. She's just like, I don't even know how to describe her. For some reason, like majestic just comes to mind because she doesn't care what anybody thinks about her. And obviously you look at her and like, of course she doesn't. She's beautiful. But like, she's weird. Like she has always been weird.
She's her own person.
She's her own person.
Yeah.
And she has never cared. You know, we asked her in the episode about, if she's ever felt lonely and how weird she is, and she's like, no. Some people they are born and they don't give an F at all.
Well, because when you go through your whole healing journey, it's not normal to think about the products you're putting on your body and are they non-toxic and are they full of fragrance and what that really means and eating a certain way, but you go to all these restaurants and you can't eat what you need to feel good. And so I've noticed it is lonely, but her view on it is, no, this makes me feel good. Like what? And so I think it speaks to how powerful your mind is.
And I also, if you're new here, I just want to explain, I think if you jump in and you hear Brooke like restricting certain foods or taking out non-toxic, I think it's important to know that she cuts things out because of how terrible it's been chronically on her health to have added pesticides or fragrances. It makes her gut thrown off. Jessie Golden had rheumatoid arthritis. She's not cutting out non-toxic things because it's the cool thing to do. Like they have no choice but to be really diligent in their health to be all natural and to make sure they feel okay because they're both thrown off so easily by anything that's not natural.
Yeah, great point. And we've both done our research on why we're doing the things that we do. Although I don't think you have to have an illness to make these changes, right? The more you learn about what's in the products that you're using, the foods you eat, how it affects your genes and your cells, and it's fascinating, it's powerful. And so just educate yourself on what you're doing, what you're eating, what you're putting on your body. Ultimately, the choice is yours. You got to do whatever makes you feel good, whatever works for you, but just educate yourself.
But if you don't start prioritizing your health, you will be forced to.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's tricky, right? Because in a way, no, not even in a way. I feel very blessed that I was basically slammed into the ground and said, you have to make these changes. Because it is hard when there is sugar everywhere. You go to every restaurant and it's greasy food and there's drinking and it's just a part of our life. And so I did feel like the black sheep, saying, I can't do these things. I have to completely change my life. And now I see the beauty in it and the blessing. But a lot of people aren't that lucky, where they can go on for years and years, and then all of a sudden they get a cancer diagnosis and they're forced to, right? So for me, yes, I've been through hell and back, but I consider myself lucky because I'm 27 years old and now I have a different way of living. Mm-hmm. And so I want to use this platform to tell people they don't need to let it get so bad. Yeah. Before they can make some changes.
Well, and I think that we're okay with feeling a little bit crappy. Like, you're okay with feeling a little bit anxious. You're okay kind of having a stomach ache.
But why?
Right. And it's like when you eat fast food for a long time and then you take a break from it and then you have it again, you feel so terrible because your body gets used to feeling like crap. And a lot of people have just always felt like crap. Mm-hmm. And I think, if we can do anything, it's to kind of help you incrementally become aware of how crappy you feel.
Yeah.
And to do something about it. And so that all these little tips, we say we want to simplify health and wellness, that's exactly what we're doing. These little challenges, these little things, take what you want that you can do. We're not lying. We've tested it a million times. If you want a self-growth tip, we are the self-growth queens.
But the thing with change is you cannot tell someone what to do, right? They have to want to do it.
Yes.
And as health coaches, we recognize that. We understand how the brain works, psychology. And so what we're doing is, here are all of these things that are proven to make you feel great. We want you to just pick one that speaks to you, what you get excited about, because as you start to feel better, you want to keep feeling better. Mm-hmm. And the better it gets, as Catherine says, the better it gets.
That's right. Well, in every episode, what we want you to do is you don't have to listen to every episode in chronological order
mm-hmm.
of Ivy Unleashed, but there is a topic for everything under the sun. We have over 100 episodes now. And so we always tell people go to what speaks to you, because in every single episode, what we do, last 3 segments of the show, the first one is the 3 gold stars. So every episode, and Brooke and I will do this here shortly, is 3 tangible steps. And it's on our grid and Instagram, so you can see them listed there too. And in our blog, you can find them everywhere. But it's taking what speaks to you, what feels doable. If something feels overwhelming, then it probably is. So these steps people have shared that really help them in their life, something's going to speak to you. Something's going to feel like, I've been wanting to do that. And wow, here's her story of how it worked for her. Cool. Okay. I'm going to try it. Mm-hmm. And so go back through, we also do Unleashing Ivy, where we ask people surprise questions about how they grew in a hard place. That's what Ivy is. It grows in hard places. And so if you need some inspiration and be like, I just want to hear people's answers to these questions that Brooke and Andrew were curious about. And then we end with a quote. And sometimes a lot of times quotes really speak to people. Everybody we talk to I love quotes. That's why we put it at the end of the show. It's to inspire you. It's to get something to click for you. If you feel like you've got no gas in the tank and you need a little help, listen to our piece of gold at the end of every episode. It's the last 30 seconds of every episode. You can hear that before we sign off. We'll put it on the grid too. And so use these little things to give you that tiny boost, that little bit of inspiration, that idea that you haven't thought of, the goal that maybe you want to try and see how it works out for you. Think of this as an experiment. How can I get a little bit more inspired, tap a little bit more into what I want to do, and just try it?
Yeah. How can I get a little more out of this life I'm living? Enjoy it a little more. Come to us for inspiration. Life is hard. And that is why we're doing what we do, to show you ways to make it easier, to make it more enjoyable, to feel better, to have more energy. Ultimately, if we don't have energy, we don't have our health. Energy is everything. And we've both done a lot of shit, as have the people that we have on Ivy Unleashed. And we're so grateful that we can be a vessel for these incredible stories. And like Andrea said, there's topics on everything. We've got people who have gone through some shit, coaches, doctors. The list just goes on. And if there's a topic that you are passionate about, you have a story about, this is a space for all of us. Mm-hmm. We believe there is room for everyone. And the more stories we can light on fire and get to this world, the better and more beautiful this life will be. Mm-hmm. So tune in to any episode that resonates with you. Reach out to us on socials, Echo Ivy Health Co. Come move with us if you do want some energy and you're like, I need some accountability. We are here.
Yeah, we have people that move and every day send us what they're doing for their workout. Shout out Brittany Strike.
Yes.
Every day she tells us what she does in her workout, and it's just amazing to see. Like, she's so committed to her health and has 3 kids in her household and a blended family, and she's just prioritizing herself, and she sent us a picture of her and her little girl doing it. Oh, it just melted our heart. And so she's a perfect example of someone that has every excuse to not do it, to just survive with all that she has going on. And so shout out Brittany for the accountability piece. Thank you for messaging us and moving with us.
Yeah, anytime you message us, you get entered to win some gold for the month too. So she's definitely in the lead. I'm curious what you want to do with 2023.
I really want to get my finances in order. It's something I've been like slowly working on, like the abundance mindset, knowing that I don't need to be scared of money and that I can create big impact with more money, and getting organized with it, making sure I know where it's going, making sure I understand what it's doing. Like, I know I'm investing in different things. I've got my 401k. I've got all these different investments, and like,
but why?
Why? And when will I touch that? And wait, what's that one called? My husband is brilliant with all of these places he's putting it, but I don't fully understand it all. And I think part of that scares me. It's intimidating, and it doesn't need to be. It's figure outable just like everything else. And I'm great at figuring shit out. Why can't I figure this out? Right. And so committing to knowing everything about my money, where it's going, what it's doing, and not spending it until I have it. Right. And knowing like, okay, I made this, I can spend this, because credit cards, it's so easy. Everything's automated. It's hooked up to Amazon. It's hooked up to these memberships I have. What do I even have memberships to? Like, am I paying people for no reason? And so making sure I know where everything's going is really important to me, to kind of own that and feel powerful with my money.
Yeah, take your control back of, I know exactly where my money's going, what it's doing, how much I'm making. It's so easy to, I'll worry about it later.
Yeah. So I'm focusing on money. I'm focusing on marriage big time. And I really want to just like get stronger this year. So relationship, money, get stronger. And with that, January, it's planking. I mean, we're creating move workouts, so we're getting stronger. And so it's basically just like getting move to where I want it to be. I want there to be hundreds of workouts in there so that it's like a fun game to go see what's in there for people to be like, ooh.
But some people don't like that, right? They want to know exactly what to do, what schedule. And it is important that we provide a schedule for people, so you're getting the most out of your workouts. You're taking a break from the muscle group you just worked out, at least 48 hours. And so we have Monday through Thursday is kind of what we've been doing of here are your 4 workouts, less than 30 minutes. Some are 10 minutes. Some you can just do a stretch. Like, there's all different types. We just recorded a Pilates class. Like, we love it. Andrea and I have very different interests when it comes to movement. She loves HIIT and cardio and strength, and I love strength too, but I also love yoga and Pilates and slow movement, that when you are chronically ill, when you have gut issues, you need slow movement.
And that's effective for anybody too. Like, we just did a Pilates workout that was very slow, but we were breathing through it and holding poses, and it was hard. It was like way harder than I thought it would be. And your body needs variety. It does need to switch things up. And so I think that's another value we provide to Move, is that it's very different. Like, you and me are different. And that's like why I think this whole thing works so well.
We also get our banter. It's like you're working out with both of us, and we're not just, all right, in 5, 4, we're like, this hurts. I'm screaming, and
I'm like, you're fine. Let's go.
Shit's entertaining. What can I say? We're like, if we're not having fun, why the hell are we doing this?
Yes.
Oh, well, I love it. Marriage, money, strength.
Yep. Yeah. And I think each month I decide how I'm going to cultivate those things, and it might look different. And, like strength is going to be moved through the whole year, but January is going to be planking, which builds mental toughness too. And I love this idea of journaling every day. I think pairing that in there is It's going to be great for my marriage.
Yeah.
It's great for money.
I got to figure out when to do it because right now, my morning routine, man, it's stacking up.
Well, they do say you should do it right when you wake up. So
I know.
some of your unconscious thoughts get put on paper.
And I already do it. Well, I'm wondering if I do it after or before I meditate.
Yeah. I don't think you can go wrong.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to experiment.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to have to add on to my already journal practice, like my different categories that I have. I'll just, maybe after I do that, then I'll do journal. And what I've been doing that has worked well for me is just committing to filling one page. Like it's not a big ass notebook. It's just like a little tiny journal, 1 page a day, thoughts.
And then maybe flip it that you journal first and then you do your list. Like, I don't know. I'd like that idea. It being an experiment. Like, how can I get the most out of this?
Meditate before or after.
Yeah.
I don't know, but having that time for you in the morning, I'm telling you. We talked to Catherine the other day, and we talked about how you have meetings all day long. You have to meet with yourself first. Like, you are worth that time. Ever since I started looking at it as a meeting with myself, it's
shouldn't that be first? Why isn't that
like,
first?
Hold on. I got to fill this up first.
I haven't met with myself.
I don't even know what the hell's going on in my brain.
I don't know how I feel about that because I don't know how I feel about me yet. Yes.
It's so true. Mm-hmm. Stop, give. You got to have something to give.
Schedule that meeting with yourself first.
Yeah. You show up to every other meeting. Why aren't you showing up to you, the time you set for yourself, whether it's exercise, journaling? Do these things because they feel good.
And they make you. Like, you on this earth need to be your total full self. And that sounds so simple and cliche.
But it's not.
But it's not. Because so many people I ask, what do you like to do?
I don't know.
What do you enjoy?
What do you want?
What brings you joy? What makes you laugh? What makes you feel rejuvenated? People are like, nobody has ever asked me that. I'm like, well,
you are with yourself 24/7. Like, you need to know everything about you. And you do, but you haven't created the space to listen and learn. And it's different every season what your needs are. So having these reoccurring, quarterly meetings with yourself of checking in with your money, your marriage, whatever it may be that you really need, you know deep down what needs attention. Stop neglecting it.
All right, season 3, first episode of the season. It is time for our first 3 gold stars. Number 1. Meet with yourself daily. Schedule that meeting.
Yes. Number 2, identify what within your life you are ready to face and what that first step will be in facing it.
And number 3, schedule something in 2023 that you can look forward to.
Oh, it's going to be a beautiful year. We are in this together. We are so excited. It's a new opportunity to pour into you, to create a life that you look forward to, that you get excited about, that when you get out of bed in the morning, you're like, whoo, what's going to happen today? I'm excited. We are so happy that you are joining us in this journey. We couldn't do it without you.
Yes, it's an honor to sit here and to provide value to you. You taking your precious time to hear from us means the world. Feel blessed beyond belief to be a podcast host and to bring people in here that can help you in your life. We have this one life, this one life, and let's make an impact. Let's really tap into our potential. Let's figure out how low we're feeling and what we can do about it. Cling to those people you love to help you get out of that dark space. And if you don't feel like you have anybody, you have us. You can message us at any time. We are here for you. You are not alone.
Amen, sister. We love you. Let's leave them with some gold.
Yeah. So our piece of gold today comes from a singer and songwriter. Her name is Lily Miola. She was on the singing competition show with Simon Cowell, one of his shows. I'm not sure which one. But she wrote this beautiful song called Daydream. I can't stop listening to it. I encourage you to listen to it too. It will get you thinking about this one life, and it will get you thinking about those things you dream about, and why can't they be part of your life? You're thinking about it, so it is. So our piece of gold from Lily Miola is, if it makes you nervous, then it's probably worth it. Why save it for sleeping when you could be living your daydream? This is Gold Ivy signing off.
Listen to your truth and go chase your gold.